Welcome to the first ever episode of the history of the FIFA World Cup by me, Jose S. or Jose Suarez. The first World Cup will be the Uruguay 1930 edition, which was almost 100 years ago. Some of the main stuff you need to learn about this tournament is that since it was the first World Cup, it was obviously very short, with only 13 teams participating on a span of around two and a half weeks. Three stadiums were used across the only one city in the tournament, which was Montevideo. These were the 13 original teams: Argentina, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, France, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, Romania, United States, Uruguay, and Yugoslavia. Since this was obviously the first ever World Cup, all the 13 teams that I have stated also participated in the first World Cup, and I'm not repeating it. This was the World Cup participation map at that time, with every single team that is currently highlighted in red have played the first ever World Cup. Before, just to make it clear, this was 1930. Only one host city was ever used, which was Montevideo, which, if you do not know, it's actually the capital of Uruguay. Three stadiums were used: the Estadio Centenario, the Estadio Gran Parque Central, and the Estadio Picotos. I hope I said it right. The Estadio Centenario is where the Uruguayan national team plays and where the final was played. It was also built specifically for this tournament. The Estadio Gran Parque Central, which one of the biggest teams of Uruguay actually play there, and the Estadio Picotos, which was where the first match ever took place, but no images available since the stadium has been destroyed even before or after World War II. The final was played obviously in the Estadio Centenario in July 30th. Uruguay was actually losing the final 1-2 before, in the second time where they just made a surprising comeback, winning the first ever final 4-2. Here's some stats of the tournament. 70 goals were scored across the 18 matches, meaning that if we divide it by the number of goals scored divided by the amount of matches, we obviously get the goals per game, which at this time was only 33.89. Guillermo Stabile was the top scorer with 8 goals. But at that time, they didn't give out any awards of who was the best goalkeeper or who was the best player. Some of the notable matches that the tournament included were the France 3 Mexico 1, which was actually the first ever match ever played in the history of the World Cup. And Lucien Laurent actually scored the first goal against Mexico in the 19th minute. Another of the notable matches was the Chile 3 Mexico 0, which actually included the first ever own goal, which, if you do not know, an own goal is when a player accidentally or purposefully, I don't know how, makes a goal into their own team's net. This happened when Manuel Rosas actually scored in his own net at the 51st minute. Here's some other fun facts. The reason why Uruguay actually was able to host this first World Cup was because they actually beat Argentina 2-1 in the football, yes, I call it football, games at the Amsterdam Olympics of 1928. The trophy was called the Jules Rimet Trophy, this one, to be after Jules Rimet, who was actually the creator of the FIFA World Cup. This was also the first since this was the first World Cup, there was no qualifiers. The qualifiers started in the next World Cup, which we'll get to in a few days. The only reason why I said that only 4 European teams actually went is because it was 1930. The playing technology was not as advanced as it is today in 2023, so and the planes couldn't just casually travel the length of the Atlantic Ocean, so they had to go by boat. The only problem is it took over 1 month to go. So, how far did the teams make it? Mexico, and alongside a lot of other countries, including Belgium, France, Romania, Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru, and Chile, all got eliminated in the group stage because at that time only the leader of the groups actually passed on to the next round. Yugoslavia finished fourth after boycotting the Yugoslavia-US third place playoff, giving the United States the third place. And the final was between Argentina and Uruguay, and as stated, Uruguay ended up winning that final 4-2.